What's going on, y'all? My bad. Forgot about TikTok already. I'm gonna get used to this eventually. Let's see. Yeah, I knew that was. Okay, we can just leave it like that. All right. Done. Go live. Boom. All right, y'all. Welcome to another edition of the BTSI show. Or actually, I should say, welcome to another edition of All World Reaction. My name is Christopher J. Thank you guys for tuning in. Probably should have pinned the link on the YouTube side, but it's all good. We'll figure it out. Like I said, shout out to people who are watching me on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, and TikTok Live. I see you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, sending gifts, and all this other stuff. Y'all want more content like this? Subscribe and share. Follow me on all socials. Oops, there we go. Links are located in the description. Participant waive all rights and privacy. We're on the road to 1,500. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person will get a Cash App award, and we will do 3 runner-ups. So, ladies and gentlemen, all across my platforms, yes, I finally got a chance to watch a movie that opened at 875 million worldwide. I believe that is a definitely a Sony record. We could say that. That's an easy one for Sony, but Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, I'm going to say this. I have heard a lot of great reviews about this movie prior to me going and seeing it. Me, my son, and my little brother. I heard people rate about it as the best Spider-Man film. I heard a couple of people, especially a friend of mine, that it was trash, and the post-credit scene was trash. First off, when she said trash, I said, nope, talk to you tomorrow. We're not having this conversation right now. And of course, there's some people who say it was too much going on for probably a 2.5 hour film or whatever the case may be. So, where do we start? And I if you guys check the thumbnails, and y'all should see this TikTok. I know y'all see it here. Warning: potential spoilers. So, how do we do this? And anybody that wants to, and also I got to keep an eye on this one, because if anybody want to join the live, they're more than welcome to. Let's see. And boom. Yeah, you guys want to hit the live, just put it in the chat, and I'll bring you guys up. And on the other platforms, you guys already know, click the link, and I'll see you guys, and I'll bring you guys up. So let's talk about this movie. Let me not give a grade on it. Let me just go based off of the things that people say. Actually, we got one of them in here. YouTube doesn't have that warning. I know, that's why it's on the thumbnail. Potential spoiler. Tank, what's good, man? Chilling. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me turn you all the way up. How you feeling, man? Let's see. Brittany B said, make sure I add warnings for potential spoilers. Let me just go ahead and make that thumbnail. Wow. I know she's probably correct about that. But Tank, while I'm getting this taken care of, did you see the movie yet?
What
movie? Brand New Day.
No, not yet.
All right, you did. You want to join the conversation, or you want to go watch it? Because I don't want to spoil nothing for you, man.
Well, I'm sitting at work, so I can't watch it right now.
I
saw the invite. So.
Oh, well, my bad. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to join. You're more than welcome to drop. Enjoy the show, because we're about to get into this movie. So my bad, man.
Let me watch it first, and I get back with you.
All right, bet, man.
All right, my boy. Take it.
All right, bees, man. So let's add this banner, and let's keep this. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So there were speculations. I knew to trust my sources. But yes, and like I said, potential spoilers. I don't want to hear nobody say, "Why'd you ruin the movie?" On YouTube, it's right there. TikTok warning, potential spoilers is right there. So, what can we say? Yes, Jean Grey, Sadie Sink. Yes, she was Jean Grey, and but she's not the Phoenix. Brittany, what was that name? What did they label her as? The entity, I believe. I believe that was Jean Grey, the entity. Now, I might have heard about that in passing. Rosie, how you doing? Um, yes, this Jean Grey that they're going to explore because I'm kind of glad that it was the entity. That's what I thought, the entity. I might have heard of that in passing before, but obviously everybody was more focused on Jean Grey being the Phoenix, whereas you got this Jean Grey as the entity. I thought this was an interesting storyline for them to go down to begin with, and based off it seeing what her powers is, it's like okay, I can see how this could have some potential of being a nice storyline to work with and exploring her powers. Different than her just having a huge ass headache, which eventually she had one in the movie, but that's neither here nor there. So, Houston, sweetheart. Yep, Houston. So, what do I feel about this Jean Grey in comparison to uh, the last two? Now, obviously, is anything really gonna beat the original? No. And I was thinking about the original Jean Grey while on my way to see this movie, and I was thinking like, let me get that out of my head because one thing I don't want to do is compare Sadie to the original actor that played Jean, and also I don't want to compare her to the one from Apocalypse, neither, or Dark Phoenix. Definitely didn't want to do that. It's like stand alone, let her swim by herself. Let's see how she's doing. Now, as far although I do like this Jean Grey, the thing is, as far as her delivery, well, how can I say this? When she was inside of Peter's house, when she was inside of Peter's house, I liked the dialogue and the commentary that she was doing. However, she was doing it through other characters, so she could mentally jump through different people, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And I'm not going to go as far as to say her acting skills is rusty. I would never do that. But I would say is if this is the dialogue we're going to get moving forward, especially given that the X-Men movie is coming out 2028, I'm investing in this Jean Grey. Whoops. One second, y'all. Sorry, I had to turn sleep mode on. I don't want no phone calls. So I'm investing to see what is this supposed to be. Let me check in with Brittany. Her powers are like Scarlet Witch, and her headaches come from the Hulk, basically. That's well, yeah, she did, and that was I gotta take on that. She's supposed to be childlike. She is based off of what they said, she is a they believe her to be a teenager in the movie. They credit her to being a teenager. Now, as far as the headache, let's actually talk about that. Um Spider-Man kicked her out of her head in the initial part of the movie. And obviously, I'm assuming her spider senses had everything to do that. Shout out to y'all for the license. Keep that up. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Um, Bruce, dare I say the Hulk had almost kicked her out. How can I say this? When she and like I said, spoiler alert, and we had 875 million worldwide. I don't want to hear shit about shit. So when it comes to Spider-Man is stronger than her mentally, dare I say the Hulk is stronger than her mentally as well? Because yeah, Hulk did kick her out of his head. So at least now I say we can now say there's at least two Avengers. Actually, I can't say two Avengers, but let me say Marvel. There's two MCU characters that we could say mentally they can outpower the Entity, which is Peter Parker and Bruce Banner. And of course, now one thing I do like about this situation is with her getting inside of Hulk's head, and if I remember, bear with me, forgive me, her getting inside of Hulk's head brought back the Hulk that we all know grew in love. I could say Incredible Hulk, but let's put that to the side. Bruce, how was that? What is the actor's name? Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. And also, speaking of Hulk, let's touch on that real quick. Pause. In the trailer, and when they kind of did the side by side, when Hulk was standing over Peter, and Peter's like, I never known you could really get that big. And I'm looking at the trailer like, that's the same size Hulk. I was like, Peter, I know it's been a while. It's been 4 years. No, that's not accurate. Because it's 2026, and I'm getting reports that the movie was based in 2027. And I'm thinking like, okay, maybe you ain't seen the Hulk in like 4 years, so you forgot how tall or how big he is. But before he turned around, before Hulk turned around and really looked at Peter, he said, no Banner, no girl, just Hulk. And he really hulked up. That, I have to admit, I'll say, yeah, that's probably the biggest Hulk I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen a Hulk that big before in any adaptations. Not the 2003 one, which we will talk about because it's her favorite movie. And I know. This is gonna be one of the most uncomfortable segments. I already know. But 2003 Hulk was, and comic.com actually had all the how tall the Hulks were. As far as how much they weighed, that's a given. We're not about to investigate that because we already know that could range to whatever. When it came to 2003 Hulk, that was maybe a 7-footer. Incredible Hulk was around the same height or whatever. Mark Ruffalo Hulk was not that much taller than the Avengers. And if I recall correctly, the tallest Avenger had to be suited up. Well, obviously it had to be a Brody or Iron Man. But this Hulk, hold on. And let me do something real quick. How tall is Tom Holland?
Tom Holland is 5 feet 8 inches.
Okay, Tom Holland is 5'8". And I didn't know they can do this. Oh, cool. This is actually kind of dope. Shout out to you, Rosie. So, what was I say? Tom Holland is 5'8". That Hulk that I saw, ladies and gentlemen, that's an easy 9-10 footer Hulk. Yeah, that is probably the tallest Hulk I've ever seen in my life. And the reason why I appreciate this scene, because me and Brittany talk about this constantly when we have these Hulk conversations, the angrier he gets, the more bigger the more bigger, stronger, and now essentially taller he gets. And I will check it after the stream, sweetheart. Thank you. I promise I'll check it after the stream. To see to see this Hulk, I was like, good. Now you guys are walking in the right direction of where the Hulk needs to be. Granted, now unfortunately he's going to be locked up for a good minute until they figure out what happened, and quite frankly, they're not going to figure it out. So, thank you for doing Hulk some type of justice. Thank you. Now we got the original Hulk back. Now, let me see what Brittany's talking about. She got inside Smart Hulk's head and control him, but the other guy saved him like he always does. Not only did the other guy save him, the other guy lost his temper. Sorry, y'all. There's an Amber Alert. 1 second. 1 second, y'all. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. I gotta check that one. All right, my apologies that Amber Alert, because ever since well, I'll tell you guys this. When was I still there? I want to say, yeah, these ears be working. 2018, 2019, there was an Amber Alert that actually hit in my safe vicinity. And once I found that out, I checked every single Amber Alert just to make sure it's nowhere nearby. But my bad about that, y'all. But let's continue. Yeah, this the entity brought back the Hulk, the real Hulk. Smart Hulk is, I'm going to say, retired for now. Sorry, hold on. Uh-oh, she got a thought. What we got? Think about this. Spider-Man has never actually seen Hulk. If you want to say the regular Hulk, I agree. He's seen Smart Hulk before in Endgame, but you're talking about the traditional Hulk, then you're absolutely correct. He never seen that one before. Fair enough. I'll check that out, Rosie. Shout out to you. Thank you, though. Oh, these things are interesting. Gotta check out Kick more often. So yeah, with the Hulk, I'm glad that they got that piece of the story taken care of. But my only thing is, what are you guys gonna do with the She-Hulk storyline? Because I'm never gonna forget that he went to Planet Hulk and came back with the sun. I know the She-Hulk series is canceled, but did y'all cancel out that timeline? The battle scene, that's it. As far as Brittany, are you saying what? That's your highlight of the movie, was that fight scene? And also, did you guys catch that? I forgot it's called something X. It's whatever Spider-Man used to punch some sense into the Hulk. But I expect to see that again. because it almost resembled a Venom strike to me. And obviously, we all know they've been um, breadcrumbing the idea of Miles Morales. Obviously, Jamie Foxx and Andrew, well, way before that, Spider-Man: Homecoming, uh, Donald Glover's cover is the Prowler. Obviously, Miles' uncle. So there's your first indication. Then Electro, Andrew Garfield's exchange in No Way Home was another indication that Miles Morales will be popping up soon. And also, granted, that punch, I think that's a nice machine to resemble Venom Punch, and so I do believe, honestly. Well, let's continue that. Let's actually put that on hold because we got to get to the Peter Parker and what I think is going to happen next. Keep Miles Morales in mind, especially when we get to the post credit scene. Here's one thing I hold up. No, in-game battle scene is when he saw him. Correct. And Hulk destroyed that little machine. Oh yeah, he did destroy that. Never mind. Yeah, there goes that idea. But let's get into this. Here's why I was really, and I do mean really excited about this movie. And dare I say, there were some parts of it that I can relate to, sympathize, to say the least. Which reminds me, I'm gonna tackle this word empathy and sympathy because somebody told me I had the definition wrong. I refuse to believe that. Seeing, not seeing, my bad. So no in-game battles. No, in-game battle scene is where he saw him. Right. Gotcha. So there's something that Parker did in No Way Home, which I know personally. Just on, I don't want to. Let me, obviously, it's not going to be to the same extent, maybe to what Parker did, but let's just follow me. That's the storyline of being a man and making a decision when it's time. Even this decision doesn't benefit you at all, you have to do it because it's the right thing to do. And there were some points in my life. I don't want to go details with it because we'll be here all night. But there were some points in my life where, especially at a younger age, I had to make decisions that I did not want to do, but it was the best decision for everybody else. For everybody else, it was the best decision. And what's the aftermath of the decision? Everybody go on with their married life and do what they got to do. According to me, and everybody goes live their life doing whatever they got to do. I left with the aftermath of the decision making of the decision, and it just turns out not to be something I desire. So, sacrificing everybody else's memory to forget about you. You walk around with this note, and for I don't know how long. Matter of fact, you've been walking around this note for 4 years. You've been walking around with this note for 4 years. And if I recall correctly, No Way Home took place in 23. So that means this year took place is now 2027. Okay. I did the math. Sorry, just epiphany. So you made this decision. However, you have opportunities to still get what you want after the decision you made to make sure nobody remembers you. In order to protect people that you care about the most. You saw Ned at a store buying whatever the hell he was buying, some type of energy drink. the MCU versions of Four Locos, as I will call it, got invited. Well, not got invited to the party. You just happen to walk on into somebody's house, and you found MJ. Ned and MJ is roommates. Found that to be an interesting dynamic, but neither here nor there. Those two were roommates. You refound the love of your life, but you can't say anything about it. Can't do anything because you remember, this is the decision that I'm making. I have to see it all the way through, even if it hurts me, even to see her with somebody else. I gotta fall back. That's the right decision that you have to make. That's a man decision. Sorry, on the vertical stream. My bad. I'm too out of place, and I'm move you guys here so y'all can see me. So with that, now you battling the entity, and for some reason, because even Grayson, my son, asked her this, why did she? And Brittany, you could help me out. Oh, speak of the. Making her return to the BTSI show, ladies and gentlemen, Brittany. Brittany, how you doing, sweetheart?
Hey, I'm just give me a mic check. You know, I'm at work, so I just want to make sure you can't hear my background.
Mike is good.
Okay, I'll go on mute. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. So, even my son was asking me, why did Jean Grey mind hop into MJ? I think I have an idea. I give him an answer. I told him, ask me in the morning, I'll figure that out. But in the point of still making a tough decision and seeing it out, MJ's life was in danger, as he thought, and he said, I need to go rescue her. So, excuse me. And some people ask, how did Jean Grey how was Jean Grey able to find MJ? And the last place she was is in a helicopter. Here's how that happened. She already knew, because no Chaser, what's good, man? How you feeling? She already knew, based off of being in Peter's head, keep in mind Peter's kicking her out. She knew where Jean Grey stayed at. And all she had to do was disconnect from the body that she was in, and continue to do the mind hop until she got to MJ. And here's where I think she jumped into MJ's head. When Peter was trying to convince her to leave, she said, fine. I think that was the entity. I think that was Jean Grey. And of course, they eventually found themselves at a rooftop. Now, keep in mind, like I said, you gotta live with the decisions that you make. And sometimes you can't play both sides of the fence. Not yet. Well, I'll leave that alone. Only exceptional people can do that and make it work. Because everybody, this part kind of pissed me off in the movie theaters, because I feel where he was coming from. For Entity to play on this boy's emotions of being the only human in the world, nobody knows, alone, and the idea of MJ discovered that you were Spider-Man again, I totally get the feeling that he felt, and all the emotions that just rushing into him, caught him at a vulnerable spot, only for that to be taken away. For his response to be, there's some things that's just unforgivable. I thought Peter was going to lose his mind and knock the entity off that balcony. And quite frankly, he wanted to do it, couldn't, obviously, because all she's going to do is release the hold, and now you just killed your girlfriend. So one thing, the reason why I felt him on that part is like, I made a decision to protect you, and you play on my emotions, and just when I thought I'm about to have my old life back, you took it away from me. yeah, you play now. You're just playing on my emotions, and trust me, has someone played my emotions based off the decisions I made before? Short answer is yes, and all day I can do is practice some type of self restraint and just keep it moving. I thought
Um,
that was the
I'm sorry.
scene. That was the scene that really pissed me off in the movie because I really felt where Peter was going. Go ahead, Brittany.
I was just gonna say this idea of Peter trying to get his life back, but then also you advocating that he made the best decision to make people forget him. It's kind of a contradiction. It's a battle because he's
Hmm.
hoping that people can remember him, even though he made this decision that, spoiler alert, they're gonna have this, back and forth about how you made a decision, but technically you made it for me, and I didn't agree to that, but we'll get to that part.
No,
But
we can
now,
jump to that after this.
yeah, so but now Peter in that moment is having this big like, oh my goodness, you remember, but the point was that you don't remember, I
Right.
guess, or that people maybe let's change this real quick. Maybe that spell, because we've had this conversation about the spell,
Hmm.
uh maybe that was just for the moment. Like, I want people to forget about me so that they can get into school. But you didn't think about the long term effects, which is what Dr. Strange was trying to get him to understand. Like, I mean, ain't nobody gonna remember you, period. So all this hope that people remember you is kind of like as a kid, because he was a kid when he made the decision,
Hmm.
you're kind of like, well, I want to do this thing to protect people, but I really hope it doesn't work.
Right. And and that's the thing of having your cake and eating it too. Honestly, like this is the right decision, but if there's any way that I can salvage something about this to just, I guess, make me feel better about it, it's like I'll do this if I can still get something out of it.
Then that means all this avocation that you're doing for this so-called decision that he made that was supposed to be for the best of everybody around him is actually not. It's just an image of me trying to do the best because I'm trying to, like later on, I'm hoping that this decision backfires and that people do actually remember me instead
Right.
of not remembering me and taking the L. And you know me, I'm a adversary. So in that moment, Gene, you're saying he played on emotions. I think in that moment, Gene made him realize, fuck, I guess I have to actually be whatever it is I was trying to be in that moment and I ain't gonna say take the L because it's not an L if you're trying to protect people, but actually live with the fact that, hey, this thing that I tried to do to protect people is actually what it was supposed to be doing because this girl does not remember me at all. And it might
Right.
have been something that just said, Spider-Man, they don't remember you. It's not gonna work, fam. And you just gotta live with that because that's what you wanted instead of trying to eat cake. So
Right.
back on me.
And no, you're absolutely right. The right decision for Parker to do is to live with the choice of this is to protect everybody. So I'm going to do that. And he essentially didn't do it.
And here's
And
the other thing. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Here's the other thing. Even when he was hugging everybody at the end of the other movie, I messed up all the homes.
Yeah, no way home.
So No Way Home, when it was hugging and he was about to say, I love you, and she said, no, tell me later when you come find me, because that also was a part of the plan. Just because just
Ooh.
because you don't remember Peter Parker doesn't mean you can't get to know Peter Parker later. I'm actually doing this so that right now, being associated with Peter Parker can get erased from the memory and everybody's memory. But it doesn't mean that after the spell is done, that I can't come reintroduce myself. My name is Hove, and we start right where we left off from because we actually have a bond that I have and I can rebuild with you, which is why later on, MJ was like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you come back? Like I guess the promise was because in that moment, everybody understood I'm about to do something and y'all not going to remember me, or it's going to be something that's detrimental, but I'm going to come find y'all. You might not remember Peter Parker, but you can actually get to know Peter Parker again.
Right.
Oh my
And
God.
let's get into that because that eventually what took place in the movie. Now, I forgot who oh yeah, they trapped. This is after they finally caught the entity. He came back to Frank's place and she found that letter and that she was reading. I was like, oh. And to your point, she said, if this is all true, why did you just come back to find me? And for him to say, give his explanation and to say, I love you. Now, let's say that was me. That was not what you needed to say at that moment.
It wasn't. And the explanation is bull crap, because if, again, I'm supposed to give this letter to you and we can, that was the agreement. You're not knowing Peter Parker. Peter Parker has this thing in his head that I'm trying to protect you, but don't nobody remember you after the spell. So now
Mm-hmm.
what are you actually protecting, except for just, hey, I'm going to keep being Spider-Man, but I can still be Peter Parker like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, where he lived the double life thing. And I think you got to understand this Tom Holland Spider-Man, this Peter Parker is used to the, everybody knows me like I am Iron Man. So everybody knows Tony Stark is Iron Man. Everybody knows Bruce Banner is Hulk. Everybody knows Thor is Thor. Everybody knows Loki is Loki. There's no hidden identities in Marvel.
Right.
Except for now, Peter Parker is supposed to be that mass vigilante like Batman. Shout out to Batman. But I think he didn't understand how to do both. He just, if I gotta be Peter Parker, then I have to be Peter Parker, that Spider-Man, instead of being Spider-Man and then being Peter Parker, because again, he's a kid and he grew up with Tony Stark, and having this hidden identity is not a part of Marvel universe. So everybody knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man is kind of the norm. So he's probably having in his head, because again, he's a kid, that if you know who I am, then they know who I am, because Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But you erased all that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And also, did you catch what Frank said before Peter left? And I forgot where they were sitting at the kitchen counter and they was having a little exchange.
yeah,
But
he was saying, yeah, shout out to me. I watched it twice. Frank was trying to be like, so who's that girl? Like, who is she? He's like, I don't know who she is. And you're like, come on, you know who she is. You like her. He's like, I don't know who her is. Nobody knows me. I don't know her. I'm just like you. And Frank was like, just like me.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Kid, you don't know who I am. He
You
was
don't
like,
know what
do
that
you
man been
understand?
through.
Like, you don't. He's like, if I could get my family back, I'd give anything to get that moment back and have this, and instead of being a coward. And he called him a coward.
Yep.
And so
you were the
I
first
think
person that came in my mind when he said coward. I was like, yep, you had him behind the man.
Yep. So that was the back and forth. And then that's when he left. He said, he looked at the thing. He's like, she'll be fine. And he went ahead and went, to go get
Hulk.
No, not Hulk. He didn't know Hulk was there yet. He went to go get old girl, because he got the alert that she was at the Manhattan or whatever, the island, trying to get into the vault again. And so that's when he left. And then MJ came out and was like, he needs you. And, kind of like how you needed him on Staten Island.
That was funny.
Yeah, I don't know the reference. Sorry.
Yeah, something happened and Spider-Man saved Punisher on Staten Island. That's all we know.
Okay. You mean it's not in a movie somewhere?
Mm-mm.
So is they doing the same thing like Budapest? Where don't nobody know what Budapest is, but they keep referencing Budapest.
They keep referencing it, yep.
Oh my goodness, okay.
But when they brought, I will put it like this: when Peter brought MJ to Punisher's hideout, although they was kind of trying to talk over each other, they went detail what happened in Staten Island. So it's like you got two people going back and forth like who helps who, and that whole 15, 20-second dialogue was what took place in Staten Island. I was like,
The
I'm
wait a
I'm
minute.
about to remember this. I gotta watch this 2 or 3 times.
But the funny thing is the irony behind that little 15, 20-second dialogue is that they both were talking over each other. So you didn't understand nothing they were saying. That's why NJ was like, I just want to go home. Like, I don't know what neither one of y'all said. I just want to go home. So, but I like their whatever the hell that was going on between the two camaraderie. Because after she said, I want to go home, and he said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then Spider-Man was like, look, I don't have nothing. Like, I need to hide her out. Like, I need to like keep her safe. And he was all like, I made chili. Like, so that's one of them things where it's like, I'm a meanie, but I'm soft. And then you see it later when, MJ's asking about the family. And then he's all like, I got one rule. And then he listed off 3 rules. And then MJ was like, so you got 3 rules. And then he was like, I can see why you like her. And then
real quick, was that a reference to the first movie or something like that? Because Grayson said he watched the first or second movie and they had the same dialogue like that. Like, I got one rule or I got one question, and here comes a multitude of rules in question. And I was like, I'm gonna look into that, Grayson.
Okay. I was about to say I got to do a recap of Spider-Man because I was supposed to do it anyway, but I didn't make it, and so that'd be nice to see that, especially if Grayson mentioned it, then that means it's there.
Yeah.
If Grayson mentioned it, then it's there. But yeah, so that'd be funny. And then for him to be like, I can see why you like him. And then next thing you know, he walks out, and then she was like, I like him. And Spider-Man was like, yeah, I bet. Like as if, I don't know, do MJ got a thing for tough guys with soft sides or something?
Misunderstood. If you're misunderstood, she has a thing for you.
Okay.
Which call it? Andrew Garfield picked up on that when he went through that portal. He said, "You're most of misunderstood, such and something like that." It's like,
okay. And I mean, I can't say this is a spoiler because I listened to other people talk about the movie and the Spider-Man background as far as like the whole, the misunderstood part. Someone says that this is the character that is able to reach into other characters because of that misunderstanding type of situation, which is why him and Jean could have that heart to heart, even though I think it's Eric Voss. They made a comment about because Aunt May is like Peter's grounding, that he went ahead and let her in because she was just gonna go talk to Aunt May and get that same grounding because again, she's a motherless child. And so that type of grounding would have helped her in a moment as it did. And so this type of characteristic trauma, even though I think Thor tops it with the trauma, but this type of trauma, but responsibility, character arc type of thing, Spider-Man is the one that's going to actually be the character that can reach to a Dr. Doom, that can reach to all of these people who actually have powers, but are misunderstood. And, oh man, this movie, the second half of it, because the first half is trash, but the second half, this really mutant situation, because that conversation with Bruce, when Bruce asked him, how do you determine which parts of you to suppress? Because again, we see where Hulk is the person that always saves Bruce. There's always a part of you that even though you may think it's bad, it's actually the thing that's saving you. And so when it comes to these mutants, trying to suppress them or try to weaponize them, if you notice, most of the mutants, if you go through X-Men, their powers come about during puberty. So their powers aren't just something that's just like, oh, I can turn invisible. I can turn invisible because my hormones in my body did something during this stage of my life. And now invisibility is a part of my living. It's just not just a power, it's a part of me. So you can't technically suppress this part because you think it's dangerous. I need it to survive. So
Right.
that's why, like Spider-Man going through this not arachnophobia, this this spider change. It's almost like where you're thinking this change into being this ultimate spider is bad when it's a part of your growth. When your blood is doing this change in your hormones, I'm glad they kept talking about hormones. Hormones are something you can suppress because you need hormones to operate,
Right.
or you're going to go through, as I can know, headaches and all type of stuff, hormone withdrawals, your body changes, stuff like that. It's like you can't just say, "Oh, that bad thing over there. I'm just going to shut it down." But that thing is actually helping me to survive. So I love this whole mutant thing that they're doing, but I don't like the fact that it's actually Spider-Man that developed the. I mean, he's like Tony Stark all over again, dog. Like he literally
Hmm.
developed a weapon or a mechanism that can suppress people with powers and abilities just like him. Like you gave your geniusness, Tony Stark Jr. is actually going to be weaponized later on, and then there it is.
I do believe that will come to play in the
Oh
X
yeah.
movie.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I'm just trying to, and I'm well, I don't want to, we got 2 years out before that movie comes out. I'm trying to figure out what angle. Well, that is the angle to suppress mutant
Hmm.
DNA. Because I remember in X-Men Last Stand, Rogue wanted her powers suppressed so that way she could touch people, hug, kiss.
Yeah.
So
I remember
I,
that.
I definitely believe that that could be the first plot. That could be the first storyline for X-Men in 2 years.
Yep. And I
Now,
do wonder where Jean is going because
oh,
right now
I
there
know.
is no Magneto
Oh,
and there is no Xavier. And I think she is the one because that speech she gave about these people are dangerous and they're just messing with us because we're special. That is a Magneto ideology.
it is.
Yep.
It is. And at the end of the movie, when she was on that bus, with those trees surrounding, she's seeing like she's going up north. I think she's going to the school. I honestly believe she's headed
Okay.
to the
Yep.
school.
Well, if you think about it, if this is a future, then there is no school. There is no
That's where
school.
that's where Doomsday comes into play because correct me if I'm wrong. Um, No Way Home took place in 23. And if you remember the the first 2 minutes of the movie, they started MIT. Ned and MJ started MIT, and he followed them all through the 4 years, and now they're in their senior year or their last semester at MIT. So I can surmise that this movie is taking place in the year 2027.
27 or 28 right now. So Spider-Man right now is 27, 28.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about all the other situations with the X-Men and you look at the trailer for Doomsday, where would she actually be going? There is no Xavier to go to.
Correct. Because my next thing, because when I saw that scene and put that all together, now my question is, what Earth is this X-Men in? We know it's not the Fox universe. However, I had to go back to Deadpool. Anybody in the chat, please remind me what Earth Deadpool is in. So the reason why I'm asking that is because I don't know what Earth the X-Men is based in.
Yeah, I can find that out for you because in the trailer and people who break it down, obviously Doomsday is about an incursion. So you're gonna have 616, you're gonna have the Earth,
828.
you're gonna have the Earth from Fantastic Four, and you're
Right.
gonna have whatever Earth X-Men is in with Xavier, the Xavier we know, but it's not 616. So it might so you got a point, but I don't know, but there could be an Xavier at 616. But okay, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where
Right.
she's going.
Right. Because that was my initial thought. my initial thought was she's going to the school, but the other okay. Oh, hey, Raw. 616 and 926. Who's 926? X-Men?
Yeah. Because I know Fantastic Four is some
828.
00. Okay.
No,
So
Raw liked the movie, but
yeah, it was good, Raw. Hey, Raw.
yeah,
So-
because when I was talking to Grayson about that on the way of leaving the movie theater, I said, "Hold on, let me look at something." I looked at Fantastic Four. It said, "Good Earth." It started with Earth 828. I said, "Okay, that's where they're coming from." Them and Victor Von Doom, they're coming from 828. So we got that universe. We got 616, and we don't have a confirmation is where this X-Men from. But if what Raw's saying is true, then Earth 926.
yeah,
And
they're from that Doomsday X-Men is definitely not six. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be this universe. No. It
right.
definitely ain't. Yeah. Because
Uh,
if you go watch Eric Voss's breakdown of the trailer and how you can see I'll send it to you, but it's really good. So, and that's New Rock Stars, by the way. They're just really good.
So okay, Ben, I'll definitely look at that. Now I can look at all of those stuff because I actively was trying to avoid it, but I can look at that now.
Yeah, you're over now. Matter of fact, take another watch of the movie and then go watch all the stuff because when I watched it the second time, when Spider-Man, this is just fun fact, when Spider-Man went to go see, I don't know why they keep calling her Black Widow, but
she is Black Widow.
okay, all right. When he went to the office, did you notice they was playing Men in Black in the background? The movie Men in Black, Will Smith.
No, I missed that.
Yeah. The lady that was folding clothes and he asked, is this 50, 38, whatever street? And next thing you know, she talked in some German or some Russian, and then they were watching Men in Black in the background, in the TV, the little box TV right there. Yeah. I thought I was like, Disney. And I'm like, what the hell? Why the heck would you have Men in Black playing in the background? But, I mean, that's just Disney for you. But I don't even know how you would have the rights for I mean, Men in Black.
Yeah, because that was great. Obviously, Star Wars, that's a given. But Men in Black, that's a clue for something. That's definitely a clue for some. Wait a minute, who owns the right to Men in Black?
Mm-hmm.
Let me think.
I have no idea. I was a kid.
Hold on.
But overall, I mean, the second half of the movie was, all that emotional stuff.
The part where he said, "I love you." Like I said, me personally, I would never said that. And number one, you got.
Well, she already read it.
Yeah, she read it, but me personally, that's not something I would ever articulate. I was like, now's not the time.
But she already read it. That's why she was like, be honest with me. And obviously, in the letter, he's saying, I can be honest with you because you can tell when I'm lying. So I might as well pull it all out there. And she was like, I appreciate that, but I can't remember you. So the me right now, you know how I feel about the me right now, I don't even know who you are. So I can't love you, but I like that she invited him up because it doesn't mean that I can't know who you are now. Not because we have a history, but because we were friends, and that's what we should have did fucking 4 years ago.
Right.
That's what we should have did 4 years ago.
I completely agree. And Rob, we're in 616. 616 is the multiverse we're in right now. 616.
Yeah.
So, and I thought the write-up was right decision. And I just think I was like, maybe I don't want to say it's a woman thing, but it's like there's so many conflicting emotions about pop. Because like I said, Fantastic Four is 828. You said 926, which has to be. I'm assuming that's X-Men. And I forgot where Doctor Strange went in the Multiverse of Madness. I got to go watch that movie all over again. But we're definitely in 616. Did you watch the multiverse? Yes, I did watch it, and
Yeah, Doctor Strange was 616 too. That's
yeah,
the only universe he's in.
but no, when he in Multiverse of Madness, he went
Oh
so,
yeah.
and I always tell people go watch Multiverse of Madness with the caption on because by each person's name, they're gonna tell you what Earth they're from, so that way you can keep it up.
But Christine tells him when he's in the box thingy that this is Earth, blah blah blah. Because the department that Christine works for is the department that watches all of the different whatever. So Christine tells Doctor Strange when they're in that little glass box what Earth he's on right now.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, good. She says it, but on the caption, I was like, thank God I got the caption. When does Spider-Man went to Earth? Live will end. Hold on. Oh shoot. Let me do this again. Okay, we're good. Okay, Raw, help me out. Hold on. What Spider-Man into the multi? Oh no. Okay, now I see what she's talking about. She's talking about Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. That's separate.
But if you look at the post credit scenes, because yeah, if you look at the post credit scenes, so somebody broke down the fact that Ned's app is calculated through spottings of Spider-Man. So it says that Spider-Man is spotted in Brooklyn, but in the post-credit scene, he's spotted somewhere in the universe, and that means that somebody had to spot him in order for it to get on the app because Ned's his tracking device or tracking app only works when people spot him so that they can keep track of Spider-Man because someone said if you look at it in the movie, it keeps the history of where Spider-Man was spotted, all the little pings. So then at the end, it says Spider-Man's right here and finding location, and then it goes out into the universe, and then next thing you know, it says Spider-Man was spotted. And then next thing you know, the credits went and it says Spider-Man will return. So that might be somewhere they're going.
Right. And let's get into we'll get into that. But real quick, I like MJ eventually changing her mind during that swing back to the house. She's like, come on up, introduce you to Ned. I think that was a good entryway to get them all in. And for them to have that moment, that was a necessary piece. I'm not gonna say closure because the ending was the closure, which we'll talk about how if certain movements, deja vu or whatever, can help you remember a.
This is so good. I got two theories on that, and I like what you said. Movements. So two things people pointed out about Ned in that situation. The one thing is my theory. When Peter went back, because good thing she did let him back in the house, because she described the fact that she don't remember when Jean took over her body. And that's how Spider-Man realized that old boy was lying to him. Second part was when he left out the window, MJ said, Peter, be safe. And then Ned looked at her and was like, his name is Peter? So then when Peter went and introduced himself at the store, he was like, Peter. But it could be two things happening. Like you said, movements, all this other stuff can bring back memory. Or it could be that he was like, he put two and two together. Spider-Man, Peter. This guy, Peter. Peter is Spider-Man. However, Ned can do sorcery stuff. So on top of movements and all this other stuff, remember in the 3 Spider-Man movie, Ned had the slingshot or sling ring and was able to bring up sparklies and stuff because there's a theory that Ned has some type of background or something in him that is almost like a sorcerer.
Yeah, through his ancestry, right.
So even with Ned, I think Ned could probably surpass the spell and then the movement and all that other stuff. Because that actually was weird to me that you just start doing these handshakes. And again, that's the cake part that you were talking about. Why are you doing it? I thought the point was so that you could protect people they didn't know who they are, but you're still trying to do this cake eating thing where it's like, you know what? Let me give him this handshake and just see if he remembers. Now, the beautiful part is he just went along with it and did all the movements, and it was like cool. But I don't like the arc of it where it's like you gotta pick a side, man, if you want to protect people or not. Or is it okay for you to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to be Peter when it's time to be Peter, and be Spider-Man when it's time to be Spider-Man, and that's cool too.
Right. And so the question is, does Ned know? See, oh man. See, the question is, does Ned know if Peter is Spider-Man at the what?
It could be something that's happening simultaneously. So it could be
Right.
the movements is bringing back a memory. I was about to say a remembering. It's bringing back a memory. And so he's understanding, oh, this is Peter, my friend. Or it could be a callback for when, I was about to say Jane, when MJ called him Peter out the window. And then now, this is the only Peter I know. Let me just think this might be Spider-Man. So it's like, fuck. I mean, sorry. Oh my God, this is Spider-Man I'm shaking hands with. The only problem is then they start doing their old school handshake, and that could just be a wave of things happening. You know how brains work. It could be the MJ situation. It could be I'm doing this handshake. I have no idea. This guy just introduced himself as Peter, so it could be a callback to MJ calling him Peter. But then I'm remembering that I had a friend named Peter. Oh my God, I had a friend named Peter, and he was Spider-Man. Oh my goodness, MJ said that Peter's name, Peter, was Spider-Man. Oh my,
Right. So you crazy. But here, so with that, and I'm getting this mixed up with Peter's and MJ's first interaction when Jean Grey took over. As far as I knew, there was always this piece of me that was missing. I always
she
had
read the
to.
letter.
No, before she read the letter.
No,
Oh,
she read the letter already. So she understood the history that Peter has with Spider-Man. I mean, shit, sorry. She understood what Peter and MJ had because Peter wrote a letter. Now, the mess up thing is that letter had 2 pages to it when it was in his apartment, but MJ only had 1 letter. So Jean could have possibly read everything that Peter wrote because he probably needed to express it in a letter first to give it to MJ. Again, that cake thing, hoping it probably would spark some type of whatever. Because if that's the case, when MJ asked, what did you do? I could have just said, hey, I messed up. I was a Spider-Man and I messed up y'all's chances to get into MIT. That is the correct answer to what did you do or what happened.
and
That's why
also
she can remember him at the coffee shop. That's why she was like, you were at the party. And then she jumped 4 years back to saying, and you were the guy at the coffee shop before I went to school. But the funny thing is she didn't do that at the party. She didn't call back to his face at the party as the guy at the coffee shop. In that moment, she remembers the coffee shop because I think she was just, once she seen his face, she said, you were at the party. And then she was like, and you were at the coffee shop. But the
yeah,
problem is
I think that was her putting it all together because
putting his pieces together. Yeah.
yeah, because the question is now Ross said because she remembered. Now my thing is, how many times did you go into that coffee shop afterwards? And do I think she held down that job after she got into college? No. But maybe if you got a roommate with Ned, then obviously you got to pay bills some ways, shape, or form.
Well, here's
But
the funny thing. That means she had to call back she only called back 4 years ago. So she said you were at the party, and then she went all the way back to, and you were at the coffee shop before I went off to MIT. So he couldn't have been coming back and forth because remember, this is the guy who said, you know what, I'm gonna just remove myself to protect you. So I don't think he kept going because that's kind of stalkerish, but
right.
you know, so and again, he's just watching he's just watching their, I guess, IG or TikToks or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's not really interacting with them anymore until that day he said F it and went to their house. And spoiler alert again to real life, don't post your address on the internet, Ned.
Yeah, explain that because I heard that too. I was like, Why would he do something so damn stupid? But
I think I think that might have been the thing where he was trying to get people to come to the party.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yikes!
and and that's why it was funny. It was like, good thing for you, her roommate posted their address, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Especially in New York, especially in New York, that is a big no-no.
Yeah, so that's how she knew where they lived at. And it's so funny that Peter, when she was on the bed and she was like, "Do you think it's okay to make a phone call?" And Peter said to your boyfriend, and she was like, "No, to my roommate." And then Peter was like, "No." So in that moment, you're still only trying to protect MJ. You're not trying to protect Ned, because if she could get a hold of Ned, wouldn't you want to protect Ned from Jean too? If your whole purpose is to protect your friend?
Yeah, he made a lot of decisions that wouldn't recommend making. It's like if you're trying to, like you said, you're trying to protect them. You already got MJ at your hideout. Might want to be the best. It would make sense to have Ned there too. Where was
Right.
Ned at the time? Don't know, obviously, but it made sense. It's like I think a little bit too hyper focused on MJ. I understand why, but you also have another best friend.
And
Matter of fact,
again, oh, sorry.
no, as a matter of fact, you knew this friend a lot longer than you knew MJ, but I get why you're trying to protect MJ.
Right. And this is to call back on what you had said earlier about making these decisions, but they're selfish
Hey, Rob.
because you're,
Hey,
hey,
what's
you're
going on,
making
y'all?
these decisions and they don't actually, you're not taking into consideration what other people are going to think about the decision. You're just saying, hey, this is the best, and I'm making the decision that is the best. And then that's it.
Because Ned is not Spider-Man's Achilles heel. He's not his kryptonite. He's
Oh, in the
not.
storyline?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not. Like, he's just a sidekick. But y'all got to remember, Jean Grey is the original Cerebro. So when I say it makes you wonder what multiverse or what Earth they were on, Jean Grey was entirely too young for this movie.
Right, she was a teenager.
Right. So this would predate X-Men First Class. So now when we're thinking about the Men in Black playing in the background, it would be relevant to the time period that it should be if this predates X-Men First Class. But don't forget that there is alternate universes where Spider-Man actually turns into a spider, which
And
he
I thought
was turning
I thought this was going to be the movie where he turned into a spider.
because he needs humans and human interactions in order to not turn into that spider.
Yep.
Which is
Gene made a reference to that.
right. So when it came to Jean Grey didn't need for them to post that address because remember, in Cerebro, well, Professor X, he was able to find mutants where they were. Cerebro just amplified his reach. Jean Grey has the amplified reach. She doesn't need anything else for her to see. So it was very interesting to see her turn into the Phoenix or to use the Phoenix powers here. Because if you also remember in First Class, they woke up Phoenix again. Professor X
And
had got her, you know what I'm saying, simmered down.
yep. And you know what? This is I said it earlier when she was on the bus. I'm like, her speech that she had when she had the guy in the chair, that's so Magneto type ideology. I'm like, she should actually be the person that starts off the X-Men instead of it being an Xavier or a Magneto, because she already has the ideology of
The
these
House of M.
people are, these people are messing with us because we're special. And we shouldn't allow them to mess with us because we're special. And they're just trying to
Right.
weaponize us. Yep.
Because you see, Magneto always wanted Jean Grey. He wanted Jean
Yeah,
Grey
until
and
he
he
got
wanted
her.
Mystique. Yeah, exactly. So because Jean Grey is one of the most powerful X-Men. But
Yep.
when we're talking about it and we're thinking about Doomsday coming up, X-Men are coming up in Doomsday.
Yep.
So they needed to remind the audience of the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Now
That's
we
all
have
that was.
now on Twitch, Rex Text has a theory. let's see. I think the glitch that happened on the tracker is Miles. The Spider-Verse movie ends 6 months before Secret Wars. Going off comics, Miles enters 616 through Battle World. So with that said, excuse me, since MCU can technically use Miles after the Beyond the Spider-Verse, I think an incursion glitch dumps that Miles into the MCU 616.
Yeah. Do you
But
remember
as
the
a live action
sorry, shit.
person, similar to how we saw Donald Glover in the second movie. That is,
Yep.
I was
Exactly.
thinking that.
Do you
You know-
remember the glitch that he's talking about when he
Yes.
dropped it when Spider-Man came in the house and then the thing said it was like and it doubled up? Okay.
Yeah, but you gotta also know the voice actor for Miles Morales was in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
One more time.
The voice actor that plays Miles Morales.
Yeah, I saw.
Was
How
in
I was
there.
like, that's when I saw. I was like, that's not him.
That is him. That was him. Yeah, that was him.
I knew it was a trip. I was like, why you look so? You look familiar. You sound familiar. I was like, no.
Which one was it? It was the black,
The black guy. Black guy.
yeah.
Yes. On the street.
Doomsday is gonna be sick out. Y'all better make sure y'all got on your adult diapers and everything else, because you ain't gonna want to miss a second of the action in Doomsday. Doomsday is probably gonna be almost 3 hours.
Yeah, Doomsday is
And-
probably gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have everybody.
So I don't know about the everybody part. Maybe in Secret Wars. And I know I told Brittany this before, but I don't think I told her. I sent her a video last week. Comic-Con, they did release a second trailer of Doomsday. Is not nothing to really. It's an all right trailer. It's enough to keep people wanting more. But I'm thinking, like, do you guys got some new characters? I did see some new characters that I didn't recognize before, like the Doomsday with the Dr. Doom's witches or whatever it's called. I forgot what their names were. Other than that, I think whatever characters we don't see in Doomsday, we'll see in Secret War. And I'm waiting for Doctor Strange for a reemergence of Doctor Strange and his potential wife.
You don't think he's gonna show up in Doomsday?
Strange?
Yeah,
No.
I think he's gonna show up in Doomsday.
I don't think he would play him in the MCU because I can never pronounce the name. Shemek will be too old physically. I think that will be a Easter egg planted to let people know we haven't forgot about Miles. He's coming. We saw the reference in the first Spider-Man movie. Obviously, Jamie Foxx and Andrew Garfield said it in a third movie. It, like I said, y'all said that's him. Then yeah, Miles Morales is coming, and that post-credit scene, I was thinking like that's either Andrew Garfield, that's either Jesus, what's the first Parker's name? I forgot his name already. Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was either Andrew or Toby, but I'm just thinking about it, and especially what Rex said, I'm really starting to think that's a Miles Morales. And given that the Sony deal, Sony can keep the deal is Sony can keep the Spider-Man's rights if they put out a movie every 3 years, which is why they put out that garbage ass Madam Web movie. Please don't ever do that again. So
I don't think that one was too garbage.
They could have done better, but I think Craven, they could have, I guess. But after the third Spider-Man movie, MCU is going to get another Miles Morales movie that comes out next year, I believe. So in 2030 or 2031, I expect Miles Morales to be in the MCU. That's just my hypothesis on that.
I'm gonna have to do some research on this Miles character.
Yeah, you gotta watch the animated. It's really good. That one is so fire. It's so fire. But
Brittany, let me know. I'll send you both the movies.
Yeah, they're really good.
I think it's Caleb McLean from Stranger Things that will play Miles. I wouldn't be too mad at that. I heard that before. He looked like a good enough build to play Miles Morales. In the comic, Strange is a right-hand man to Doom. Oh. In creating battle worlds to save the universe. So I think he may show up in the end.
Exactly. Beyond the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse is the two that you need to see. But the cliffhanger picks up in Earth 4-2. So again, which Spider-Man are they going to? And then when into the Beyond the Spider-Verse, it showed you all different types of Spider-Mans. Like it showed you Spider-Man as a girl, it showed you Spider-Man as an Indian, Spider-Man as black and white, film noir, all this stuff. So I wouldn't be shocked if I saw Donald Glover in Doomsday as Spider-Man.
Yeah, because like Rex said, he appeared in the second Spider-Man as a actual character, human, not a cartoon, the actual human Prowler.
Exactly.
So yeah, Sony need to thank God for MCU because they would be. Oof. Sony need to thank God for Marvel. I'll just leave it at that. But and now TikTok, I ain't forget about you guys. Shout out to you guys for the support. Thank you. So there was something I wanted to.
I wonder if they're gonna bring back Homeboy.
Who?
What's his name? Jonathan Majors.
From what was told to me, the victim worked that with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it.
Mm.
I can see them bringing back Kang the Conqueror, but they're probably gonna have to use another character. I personally wouldn't mind him coming back because, given the circumstances, I thought that was obviously. I think he got railroaded, but I just don't see it. Granted, but given who Robert Downey Jr. was before Iron Man, I will use that as a leverage to get back into MCU.
That's a good point. Why did they take Bruce to a psych ward? So in the news, because Ned was crying, which is ironic, the news said that Bruce, because they said Hulk, aka Professor Dr. Banner, which is crazy, they sent Bruce to a psych ward. And I'm like, why would you send Dr. Banner to a psych ward as if you don't know who Hulk and Bruce are? Why would a psych ward be where you would send Dr. Banner?
Because a prison will be a prison is going to do the exact opposite of what a psych ward would do.
Right, but listen to the psych ward. So I don't think they sent him to a psych ward. I'm just saying that the movie said psych ward. I think 2003, Dr. Banner has always been trying to weaponize the Hulk as well, and his blood and all that other stuff. And being that we got this situation with suppression, we got mutants, we got all of these things happening. I think that was a cover-up, but I thought it was insulting to send Professor Bruce Banner to a psych ward as if Dr. Banner is crazy. Because he's not. Dr. Banner is a genius. He just has the Hulk inside him. I don't think that was a good look to send him to a psych, to say that they sent him to a psych ward.
I don't know. I think that they might bring Kang back in the Secret Wars. They might bring him back as Jonathan Majors, but you can never really tell because it's always a multiverse. But as far as putting Banner as in a psych ward, that was just like Damage Control, right? Damage Control pretended like they would take a Jean Grey somewhere and they put her in that prison. So you know what I mean? We live in the MCU where people say one thing, but their intent is duplicitous. Now, Jean Grey couldn't never be contained anyway. They just messed around and put her in a place that was gonna unleash the dragon. You know what I'm saying? When she finally saw
That they
that
didn't know.
VMAX thing.
Right.
Exactly.
That they did. Yeah. And I love that that's what she saw. And then even in the computer, it said that she was evolving in the moment because they already recognized she was stronger than her sister. He triggered her when he said sacrifice. Like, and then they were making her jump. So they kept saying like she's jumping, but they were actually simulating the jump, which I didn't like that because again, these are kids. So this is a kid. And so,
But was she a kid? See, that's the thing about Marvel with they play a lot with time, right? And these variants and everything else. Was she actually a kid? Because if her sister was taken when they were super young, right? They were like 15. And old dude was there when he took the sister. How he didn't age at all.
So again, I
The
don't think this
director?
is a long time. Yeah, no, the
Yeah,
director.
the damage
I don't
control
think
director.
I don't think that him taking the sister and Jean trying to find them was some big long year type thing. I think that was months ago. It was just months ago. She just so happened to be the person in the moment trying to look for her sister that they just took a couple weeks ago. But I have to go back. I have to go back because the director did say that we've been working on this thing, but he did give a timeline of how long they've been working on it. But obviously, they already knew about their power. That's how they were able to find the two sisters. Now, I'm glad you brought up the sisters because when Jean had that memory and Sarah was like, "I'm sorry," and then I'm thinking she jumped into her sister.
Yeah, I
Jean-
thought she
Jean
did
Grey
too,
jumped
and she
into her
walked her
sister?
away.
Yep, and she
Mhm.
walked her away, and she
Yeah,
jumped
Sarah.
into her sister. Sarah jumped into Jean to protect Jean, but also herself. But then again, that's how strong her sister was because again, when they were on the bench, Jean hadn't started doing that stuff yet. So I think that was Sarah the whole time doing all that jumping.
I thought about that briefly, but I couldn't stick on that because I had to stay focused in the movie. Because that's a good point. It's like, what did Jean have any powers when she was at that park?
No,
Yeah.
because she said, well, the sister was like, you'll be able to do this when you get older or when you get stronger. But the sister was doing it at the time.
But Jean
Right.
still had powers.
Okay, so
But
she did
not
have.
like but not like Sarah, which is why
Yeah,
Sarah
yeah.
jumped into
She
Jean.
wasn't on Sarah's level. Yeah, right. But well, that's why I wanted to make sure. Did Jean have powers? And the answer is yes. It's just it wasn't as potent. Well, not potent's not the word I want to look for. It
It's
wasn't
strong.
as strong as to
Strong, yeah.
what it was now. So when Sarah jumped in her head just to walk her away,
It's so that we won't get both of us.
right. No, I get that. So, but to your point, my question was, how do we know this is not Sarah we're talking to this whole time?
That's my theory that it is Sarah.
Because when she when she was in the park, right? In that last instant when she woke up and she was trying to figure out where the hell she was,
right?
That was when Sarah had jumped from out of her.
Yes.
So that's how you
okay,
know.
touche. Got it. Okay, got it. Yep. Because that's why she said when she was on the bench, you can do all the jumping and you'll just end up where you started at again.
Right. And that's why she was able to jump into Peter Parker and help him to cling to life while they repaired his body. That's why Frank said, I think she just left because she had jumped into him.
Mm-hmm. And what would you guys take on Frank's character? Because I like the Netflix version, and quite frankly, I like the One Last Kill Frank because that's still the same person. Do you guys like this MCU transition Punisher?
This is my first time seeing Punisher.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why I don't
Um,
know what his powers are. Is his powers being able to see really far? Because that was a good shot he took at the end.
so I'll
That
say this:
was that was
we
sexy.
know Punisher from the Netflix days because when he had his own show on Netflix. So here's this: on the first episode of Netflix of the Punisher, the Netflix show, he shot and killed somebody that was in Mexico all the way from Texas.
So he's a good shot. Okay, got it. Dang.
When I saw that, first you heard a shot, and maybe a second and a half later, someone got shot right between the eye. Because that person was in Mexico. I think he was somewhere in El Paso, Texas. I was like, yeah, that was a good shot. So
Speaking of,
it
yeah,
didn't
that's
surprise me
good.
that he was going to make that shot to shoot Gene.
What
Well, here's
surprised
the. Uh,
what surprised me with that was that Gene had the whole kilometer freeze on everything. So how did that bullet go through when nothing else can make it through?
That's well. I'm not gonna act. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know about the trajectory of a sniper bullet, especially whatever round caliber he was using. So, and even then, I can go back to the first season Raw of Luke Cage when Luke is bulletproof, but he got shot by whatever type of bullet he got shot with, whatever caliber it was, and it was hard to get the bullet out because his body kept on healing itself way too fast and kept the bullet in. That's the only something. I'm just gonna call that Netflix logic, and that's the only reason why I can surmise the bullet going through. But also keep in mind how much power was Jean losing while she was inside of Peter's head the whole time.
well, I'm glad you
Mhm.
brought that up because I was about to show you how strong Peter was. Even though she was inside of his brain, his spidey senses was still able to be, utilized to see that to feel that bullet coming.
I think she had just come out though. Like I think she had just come out. I do believe that his spidey senses is top tier because again he was turning into the spider. And I thought it was super dope that fighting scene between him and you know what I'm saying, the Asian women of doom and stuff like that was coming at him with the guns and stuff because they figured out how to neutralize the polymer that he uses for his webs from his his little shooters, but his natural webs they couldn't contain that. So I thought that was kind of dope too. It's the
That
whole
was still
thing.
Jean controlling them, by the way. That whole fight scene, that was Jean.
Right.
It was, but that's because she wanted him to let go of the monster within
Yep,
because
that's so Magneto. Man, that's so Magneto.
It really is, but it worked. And now let's transition to the I want my cake and eat it too. Because she said, Pete, you're either going to be Peter Parker or you're going to be Spider-Man. Which one are you going to be? He said, fuck it. I'm going to do both. Now, this is why I say only exceptional people can do that. Like you gotta learn how to balance out your life to make this possible.
Well, not balance. You gotta
And
have
that's
the
just
principles to do it. You
hmm?
gotta be able to. You gotta keep your principles. You can still be strong and be principalized. So I can subdue you without hurting you. If that's the case, just like he did. I shot my web. I punched you. I punched you so far that you would have been able to get hung up on that thing, but I caught you too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That was a great representation of I can do both. Uh-oh.
where'd it go?
I'm about to
yeah,
say, where did Chris go?
yeah, yeah. My check, we good?
Yeah,
We
your
can
mic
see
is
you, but we
gone, but you
can't see you.
all right,
I
John
was
Cena. I know you didn't watch the wrestling all day today. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun,
Crazy.
dun.
I
Dun,
didn't know
dun,
what
dun,
that
dun.
was. I'm gonna need StreamYard to please don't do this to me, not right now. But to that, Yeah, he managed to do both, and he managed to still show like I'm still got that beast inside of me, but I'm still human at the same time. Otherwise, homeboy would have been dead.
That's
When
why I said that movement was a great representation of how I can be both. And so can you, Jean. Like, and then she's represented, I can do both. I can use this power, and it was a crazy power to go inside Paul, to go inside of him, but to keep him breathing, you know? So I'm gonna breathe for you because I have the ability to breathe for you, keep you breathing till they fix you, and then I'm out.
yeah, with that one, I'm gonna be honest. I thought he was gonna die. Even Grayson was about to start crying in the movie theater because I was like, yeah,
No. Oh man, y'all gotta pay attention. You didn't see her say breathe, and then she started broving, and then her aura started that shaky stuff started happening, and then next thing you know, they cut the scene. So you
I
gotta, if you rewatch it, you gotta watch what happens, and I thought that was beautiful.
I saw that briefly, and I'm just thinking, okay, because everybody with there, I don't know how many kilometers was still in her whatchamacallit. And then he finally got to the hospital, and I noticed she was holding on to something and let it go. And that's when he wake up. And Frank said she was
I
doing
think
that
she
to
just
keep you
left.
alive.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's when she just left. She was breathing. So yeah, she was breathing for you. And then when she stopped breathing for you, you could breathe on your own. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Because like I said, I was like, you get between that and the what Tom Holland was saying about he's excited to see who will take up the mantle of Spider-Man. I'm looking like, okay, yeah, because you want to go work on other projects. That totally makes sense and pass the torch to somebody else. And when that happened, I was like, oh, I was not ready. I didn't think you was meant to kill off your character, but I literally thought he was gonna die. But I was like, okay, good. I'm over
I
here
guess
taking a
that
deep
would be
breath.
crazy. That
Hmm?
would be crazy to kill off Spider-Man. Dang.
Because now you got killed off, you got killed by the Punisher, which is would have evoked another conversation because they say Spider-Man is a street level superhero, and who's the best, who will win between Punisher, Spider-Man, and all this other stuff. Obviously, I would say Spider-Man, but if this would have took him out, I was like, yikes.
And
That's funny. Oh, sorry, babe. It's funny that you say that because there was a couple shots that Spider-Man took at Punisher, like go home, like the first scene where he was like, go home. But I understood that he was saying, hey, you can't shoot your way out of everything. So let me handle it. And then when they was fighting, he was all like, this is above your pay grade. And I'm like, okay, Spider-Man, chill. Like, come on, man. Like,
if you
what are
fight
we
in the
doing here?
hole,
The guy came to help you.
if you fight in the Hulk, that is above your pay rate. I don't care what nobody says, especially the regular Hulk that's above your pay rate. Smart Hulk that's above your pay rate. This guy was a good 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Never seen that before a day in my life.
And
But that is comic book accurate.
I had made a comment earlier that I was like, Spider-Man actually has never seen Hulk. So when he said I didn't know you could get that big, that could just be an honest, like, I didn't know because I've heard about you, but I've never actually seen you in action because you were in
he
Ragnarok
has.
and it's at the
He
battle.
has.
But we didn't even see Hulk in the battle.
We did just
But
briefly, but we did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We didn't really see Hulk in the battle. Go back to Endgame battle. You seen
But you
him
don't.
take
But
out.
but hold on, Brittany. You don't have to really go that far because when Hulk entered into the room, that was his regular size. And then when Hulk eventually kicked her out of her brain,
No, I
the other
mean
guys,
in the past, Chris. In the
r-
past, Spider-Man in the past has not seen Hulk.
right, just in game, and that's a big if. Probably because he used to seeing Professor Hulk, which is a good take, a good observation.
yeah, no, they have a couple protege moments though, right? So Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. And those in
Mm-hmm.
those movies is when he saw the Hulk in Captain America Civil War and continuing through Spider-Man
No,
Homecoming
no, no, no,
and
no.
the Avenger
Hulk was
Endgame.
not in Civil War. Hulk
He was
was
like,
not in Civil War.
I think he was though.
no.
Hulk was
Hulk
not
was
in
in
Civil War.
Age of Ultron, and of course, he stayed in Stark's ship, and that obviously took him wherever he took him, and
Yeah.
how he landed on Planet Hulk. So Tom
Not
Holland,
Planet. That's Ragnarok. If we talk about the
yeah,
movie,
I call it Planet Hulk, but yeah, Ragnarok.
yeah,
So
Not Planet Hulk. Wait, why would
yeah, not
Ragnarok be
yeah,
Planet Hulk? That's
yeah. That's
Thor's
not.
planet. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
they introduced Planet. They teased Ragnarok. They teased Planet Hulk and She-Hulk. Where I think
Right.
She-Hulk, he definitely went to Planet Hulk because where did you get your son from? Which I'm gonna continue to bring that up until somebody answers. Why did you introduce the Hulk? Why did you do the Hulk like that? And why did you make him introduce the son?
yeah. That was Qatar.
Qatar, yes.
Because
Qatar,
Remember
whatever.
when
That
they
was
traveled
Ragnarok.
through the quantum realm and Professor
it,
Hulk singing?
You cannot read out a chat in your brain.
Oh, my
Come
bad.
on.
Remember
half
when
reading it in his head, half out loud.
my bad. Remember when they traveled through the quantum realm and Professor Hulk seeing the other Hulk smashing everything, and he was kind of lazy about it.
That's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man wasn't in Infinity War because he was blipped. Wait,
He wasn't in
yeah, that's
Infinity War, but he
Endgame.
just didn't.
My
He
bad.
didn't
That was
interact with them.
Endgame. He was blipped away. So yeah, Spider-Man didn't see that either.
I don't know. They definitely did. They've met each other before.
Yeah, like I said, on the battle scene, and at the funeral. That's the only two times I can recall.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the only two times I can recall Spider-Man ever seeing a Hulk.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. At the Avengers Endgame, at Hulk's right before Tony Stark's funeral, they met each other. So he knew who he was from there. Like, but he didn't see him fully blowed all the way up and acting a damn donkey. But I think Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the one that's gonna show up in Doomsday. I think it's gonna be a couple of
I've been hearing that. I just don't dive into it, but I've been hearing that Tobey Maguire is gonna be in it, and I'm trying to figure how and why.
Because you got to remember, we got Earth 42, Earth 616, Earth 818, Earth 926. They got a whole bunch of different Earths.
I'm glad you're here. What is Earth
here.
9? Remind me, who's on Earth 926?
Tobey Maguire.
And Andrew Garfield is what?
I don't even remember. I think that Andrew Maguire might be Earth 42. Like, it's so much. I'm trying to like fully remember from when I watched Into the Spider-Verse, but it's a lot. You got to watch that one, Britt. If you haven't watched that one, you have to, because it breaks down a lot of where they come from and the different Earths and things like that. But Doomsday allegedly made everybody forget who they were. He's like Thanos on crack. And Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Captain America are the only ones that remember. And if you look at the trajectory of their characters, they're the only ones that have shown like superior mental qualities where nobody can really overwrite who they are. Like, they tried to erase Wolverine 150 million 11 times, never been able to do it. They tried the same thing with Spider-Man, and even Jean Grey couldn't control his mind, probably because of the altered DNA. You know what I mean? So in Captain America, he was frozen underwater forever, and he was chilling. So
I'm glad you said that, Raw. This altered DNA situation, because Xavier, that's why Magneto had the thing, because he could get in his head and he could get into people's heads. Obviously, Jean has the same power, but I want to know what is going on with Hulk and Spider-Man and why you can't get into that type of DNA. And I'm wondering if there's a similarity between Hulk's DNA and Spider-Man's DNA because of that gamma.
So
I think it is.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
No, go ahead, Chris.
Go back to No Way Home when it was Spider-Man versus Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange tried when
I remember that
when Doctor Strange knocked Peter into an astral projection. He tried to get that box. He tried to get the box from him, but even then, his spider senses wouldn't allow him, Doctor Strange, to retrieve the whatchamacallit from him.
Right.
So
I just want to know the similarities. I know that they have the capability. I want to know what the similarities are and why it's like that, and what would Hulk, the DNA of Hulk and Spider-Man have in common that they wouldn't be able to get, Jean wouldn't be able to get through to them to.
I don't
Because
think. Go ahead, Rob.
I would say it's the gamma, because both of them are altered by gamma. And Wolverine, I think he's altered a little bit by the gamma too, for them to, you know what I'm saying, fuse the advantium into his regular DNA. That's that CRISPR DNA stuff going on right there, honey. But those three, and Captain America too, they're altered through additional means. Whereas the rest of the mutants, they're kind of just born that way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and also one thing I was gonna offer is when Jean is jumping through people's minds, she's only expecting one conscious to be in control. She's not expecting two, let alone the other guy to be there, because the other guy is strong enough to take over at any time and get whoever out of your head.
Maybe that was where she flawed at with Dr. Banner, because she was thinking about Dr. Banner and just taking over Dr. Banner. And Dr. Banner is actually, he's Dr. Banner. And when we seen him, he was Smart Hulk, but he wasn't Hulk. So
Right,
she was just using Dr. Banner's Smart Hulk to get through. She probably wasn't aware of Hulk and being able to control Hulk. Hold on, I got something. Hold on, I'll be right.
All right, that's cool. And also keep in mind, hold on. If Infinity Wars took place in 2018 and 5 years later, so okay, 23. So for the past, for the past 4 years, actually longer than that, I would say for the past 4 or 5 years, there has never been the rageful Hulk that we know, because Bruce was able to control that in his regular self all at the same time. So no, people think he has this Hulk under control and they don't have to ever worry about that Hulk ever returning, but not knowing that Bruce was always just suppressing him, and he did a good job suppressing him. But now the entity came and took over. That brought out the other guy, and the other guy said, "No, I'm taking control of this wheel now."
I got a question or a comment, because you're saying Rage Hulk or Savage Hulk, or people are saying these names, but Hulk in Ragnarok was not savage because he was talking, he was all this other stuff, and he's just the Hulk. We don't see this ravage part until Wanda gets in his brain and scrambles it, and then this situation where he actually took over from Jean scrambling Smart Hulk. Those are the two Hulks that we see that are kind of like uncontrollable, ravage, whatever.
Because it took two mutants to get inside his head to bring that Hulk out.
I think
that was my point. Yeah.
I think he was savage though in Ragnarok. He just had a little more time to kind of, you know what I'm saying? He had less screen time, but he definitely was a savage.
Yeah, he was like Avengers Hulk. That's the Hulk, the one that can talk, the one that's conscious. But even I don't know, because I'm still mad about Infinity Wars Hulk. So let's just
I mean, can you blame him? You got your ass whooped.
But there was a moment. I don't agree with that. But there's a moment where when he looks himself in the mirror or whatever, the glass, and when Peter was like, "I'm your friend," and then he kind of like calms down, and you can see him holding on to that rock. Hulk let the rock go. So maybe you're right, Raw, that the Hulk that we've been seeing is the same one that's at least aware. He can get out of control, but then when his awareness kicks in, it kicks in, and he's like, and that was Hulk letting go.
That lets Bruce take back control of the wheel.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, like with Ned, right? When y'all were talking about Ned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
y'all understand, like Ned is he's a special creature in the MCU. And I think we're gonna see a lot more Ned in Secret Wars as well. Because you forget they let that whole arc go off from the Lord of the Five Rings and stuff. They never really went back to revisit that. And that's a key element in the MCU. Because that's
What part, Raw?
when he's able to make those portals with the
Oh
ring.
yeah. I brought that up earlier. Because of the last scene where he's like Peter, and I'm like, okay, there's something there that is surpassing. And Chris brought up like
I
maybe it's the movement thing that was able to spark, but I think it's something deeper with
I just
Ned being able to.
I think I just remembered it. Go back to Multiverse of Madness when they met America Chavez. They were sitting at a dining room, and they
Mm-hmm.
was talking, and they brought up Spider-Man. Doctor Strange and Wong still knows about Spider-Man because we was under the impression that those two will forget about him too, but those two are the only one that remembers who he is. So what's the possibility that Ned also remembers who he is?
Right, because he's part of that whole lineage, Shang-Chi, the legend, or the 10 rings, not the 5 rings, the 10 rings. So he's part of that whole thing. And if you look at Ned,
Christopher.
Ned looks like he has a little bit of Asian in him. Mm-hmm.
Multiverse of Madness came out before the three Spider-Man movies, so
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a great correlation.
no.
That was a spoiler to let you know that Doctor Strange was going to pop up in the Spider-Man movies.
So, oh no, well, hold on, because Rob brought up Shang-Chi and Ned. And I'm like, wait a minute, I was gonna get her to walk that one for me, but yes,
Okay.
but Brittany, the No Way Home came out, and even in the post-credit scene was Multiverse of Madness, and when they were sitting in the diner, um, um, Doctor Strange and Wong not only referenced Spider-Man, they actually said the name Spider-Man. They didn't say Peter Parker, but they said we even got a Spider-Man and that type of stuff. And
Yeah,
I'm under
that was in the movie when she was eating the pizza. And it was
right.
like, where are you coming from? That was in the actual movie. That movie came out before the three
No, it
Spider-Man
didn't.
movies.
No, it didn't. It's in the post-credit
Uh,
It
scene.
did. It did though. That's why nobody was shocked when they saw Doctor Strange and No Way Home. It's all combined together. But the point is this, right? With Ned and Shang-Chi. Ned is from the lineage of the Eternals, which is super important when we're thinking about Doomsday and the Secret War. Because y'all know Doomsday, at the end of Doomsday, they supposed to forget everything. Which is why Loki is important to the TVA, which is why I'm like, dang, are they gonna bring back Jonathan Majors? Because they have to bring back King the Conqueror. They have to. The TVA is the central tie that binds all of this.
Well, why you keep saying in Doomsday they gonna forget everything?
This the Doctor Doom they're dealing with. This is I told you this, Brittany, it's not based. It's not based Doctor Doom. This is Emperor Doom or some type of God tier level Doom that. Yeah, because once Hulk tried to strike him, he stopped him with two. He stopped the axe with two fingers. I was like,
That was Thor. You just said Hulk.
I
But
said
I
Hulk,
was
my
just
bad.
asking wrong.
Thor.
I was just asking wrong because she kept saying it. And I was just asking.
Because that's the whole setup for Secret Wars. Because Secret Wars is when everybody's supposed to come back that Doomsday eradicates to help them remember.
Interesting. You guys are comic book readers.
Yeah.
Yep, and I gotta tell people, go look at that. You can go look at the thumbnail for the Doomsday trailer. There's an insomnia on Doom's wrist. That's how you know you're not dealing with the base level Doom. You're dealing with something far more dangerous, which is why Thor was emphasizing like this type of stuff we're about to go up against. This is something different. this is worse than Thanos,
His
essentially.
speech was actually very not good.
It was
But
very what?
It was very not good.
yes, it's
Um,
not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I would not. I seen a skit of somebody making fun of his speech, and I'm thinking, yeah, that wasn't motivational at all. We need Captain America back
not
for type of
motivation. No, not motivation. It's like, I'm warning you guys. We're about to really go against a real threat now.
yeah. But even if I warn you, I then proceed to say that I fought with other people who are better than you, and they're dead.
Yeah,
So
that was Thor being Thor. That was Thor being Thor.
He
So
got to put
yeah,
a little emo in it because he's trying to shake the whole goofy emotional stuff that he just went through. First of all, Love and Thunder, I'm
trash.
still mad about that movie. So mad. So
Yeah, that was not a good movie at all. I don't care what nobody says.
yeah, Thor's arc. He just needs a hug, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not fighting you on that. And because I know you and me talked about Thor's character arc and how it's not consistent.
it's not. And
Whereas Peter, it's just going on a different transition upwards, a smooth transition. You're a god, you're a human. Verb speech could be a little bit better. It's like you're never going to get a real consistent Thor. Right now, I was obviously the best Thor we had. Like you said, I'm not touching Love and Thunder with the 10-foot pole.
Look,
that
the
was.
funny thing, the funny thing about Thor's character arc is that it is consistent. I'm arrogant. I'm the shit. Up something happens. I'm not the shit no more. I need help. Oh, and then I'm the shit again. And then I'm the shit. And then something happens. I'm not the shit no more. And then I need something to help me be the shit again. And then now I'm the shit. And then something happens and I'm not the shit no more. Like that's very consistent with Thor.
It is, but just so everybody knows, the Secret Wars expected release date is December 17th of 2027.
Yeah, we got a long way to go before that ever comes out.
Not really. Not in internet time. And the way we had to wait for Endgame after Infinity War, that was just a year later too. So I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I
Well,
gotta go back and watch some other stuff, but I'm
well,
ready.
that was a long process in of itself because the way Infinity War ended, the next Marvel MCU movie was
The bullshit.
Captain Marvel.
No,
Yeah,
it was Black Widow.
No, that was after.
That was after Endgame. Because everybody was confused about why would you bring out a Black Widow movie after Endgame and she's dead.
Yeah. I remember that one. That just didn't make any damn sense. But no, I was talking about how long it took for them to release another Marvel movie. The next Marvel movie was 2 months before. Hell, it was in February. No, it was actually in March. I lied. Women's Month, March, Captain Marvel. So that was a whole 11-month period. No MCU anything, not even the MCU TV show. Like the only Marvel movie that came out that year was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
No, it was Spider-Man Far From Home after Endgame.
Far From Home was after Endgame, like immediately
Then
after.
Black Widow, then Eternals, then The Legend of the Ten Rings, then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, then whack ass Love and Thunder.
Don't forget Wakanda Forever.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I'm on record say Phase 4 was trash.
Yeah, Phase 4 was trash, but Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel, that was all part of Phase 5.
Phase 5. The first movie of Phase 5 was Quantumania, I'm sorry. And what came after Ant-Man 3? What movie came after Ant-Man 3?
After Ant-Man was Captain Marvel.
That could have been better. Thank God for the post-credit scene. That's all I'm gonna say.
All I know is I'm super excited, but I'm about to go to bed. Y'all got me up in the midnight hour because I was being nosy, minding y'all business, and y'all was talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man got me amped up for Doomsday. It does. I was really pleased with how they put this movie, especially after watching Into the Spider-Verse. I can't wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. That's the first time I've been hyped up for an animated movie ever. I can't wait for it to come out.
No, they cannot. It's next year or is it next year or 2028?
No, it's June 18th, 2027.
Okay, good. Because they have a pushing shit back. So good.
No, because they need to set it up. You gotta understand. Y'all gotta understand. So, right, Spider-Man Brand New Day, the setup for Doomsday, and Beyond the Spider-Verse is the setup for Secret Wars.
Just a theory, because I like what Rex said earlier. I think Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to play into that post-credit scene.
Exactly. That's when we're gonna find out which version or who is going to be Miles Morales in Secret Wars.
Mm.
I got some catching up to do.
Yes, you do. Because I got both those movies on. Well, now it's called Fandango at home, so I'm definitely gonna go rewatch that. But we got something. But ladies, any final words?
This was good. This was fun, and thank you for having me. Love you guys. Bye.
You too.
Love you too, Ro. This was fun. This was great. Spider-Man was good. I know I texted you and said it was trash. I was just playing. Well, I wasn't, but I was. That's why I had to go watch it again because I'm like, something's not right. I'm missing something. Let me go back. And so I watched it again. That's how I was able to see Men in Black. But yeah, thank you for having me up. And I'm excited. I'm ready. We actually we just did a lot of predictions in this live stream. We actually didn't even go over the movie, which is funny, but we kind of did. So
yeah, we did. I'm a get my take on it. Somebody said, was this the best Spider-Man movie out of all the 4 movies? Give me some time to sit with that. I'm still keeping No Way Home for number 1, but and Brittany, I think you will appreciate this. Although this is the 4th installment, this is actually the first movie of a 3-part series. Let's just call it like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
In this movie, love you too, Ralph. And this movie, I believe, opens the door for obviously Doomsday, Secret Wars, X-Men, because now we have a solid movie that introduced mutants, because this is an introduction to mutants for this phase we're going for. I know with Wanda, House of M's, I thought that's what the storyline they was going to go with, but no, obviously no, they're not doing that. But this is an introduction movie, and I will say this is the best introduction movie, that Spider-Man introduction movie that I've seen. So I can easily give it that respect.
Yeah, I was about to say it might not be No Way Home or Far From Home or the 3 Spider-Man movie. That might be the best Spider movie, but this is a good MCU movie because of the introduction pieces that it has within it. Just like Civil War was a good introduction movie for Black Panther and stuff like that, and Thanos and that type of stuff. Those are good introductory movies. So I don't even see it as a Spider-Man movie. That's why it's called Brand New Day. I like the mutant stuff, and for some reason I just forget, or I have to remember that I really like X-Men, and I like the idea. I don't like the idea that they're children, that they pick on children, but I don't like the idea that most of the time they use trauma to get the mutant to do their mutant stuff so that they can weaponize them. I don't like that. But I also like the idea that they fight back because they're special, not because they're mean. Leave me alone. I'm special. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean that you can try to control me, because it actually brings out the monster in you while you're trying to control what you would call the monster in me when this is just a part of me. You're actually being a monster. I'm not the monster.
I
You're
like.
trying to call me a monster because, but look at the monstrous stuff you have to do to me to try to, try to control me. And that's where the Aunt May speech really comes. Like you can tell she knew, hey, you're special. They're gonna F with you because you're special. And that's crazy that we live in this type of whatever, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people try to say Disney movies put out this image of the princess and happily ever after. But look at what Disney does when it comes to teenagers that have special powers or teenagers that have something that's they're a little bit different. They have this theme that we're gonna trap you, keep you locked up, and use you when we want to use you. And it's like, oh hell no. So I'm Magneto all the
It's
way.
easier to do, and here's the crazy thing: it's easier to manipulate children to do that versus adults.
Yeah, and then you just made it even worse with that statement right there. That
But
just
that's
made it 10 times worse.
it does, and but unfortunately, that's the play that they're going with, and that unfortunately that is reality. You can manipulate. There's only a few adults you can manipulate. It's there's plenty of children, granted teenagers, but obviously our conversation we consider teenagers children. It's way
Yeah, for
easier to
sure.
manipulate children to do whatever you want to do,
And it's not
especially
even manipulating if you have to lock them up. That's not manipulation. That's you
not
capturing,
that's just captivity.
kidnapping.
Not right.
Yeah,
That's just
that's
captivity at
that's
this
what
point.
they're doing. They're not manipulating. They're treating these kids like slaves and captives.
Hmm.
Once you find out she has the power, she might not even know what her power is yet.
Right.
And you've already deemed it dangerous. So then what ideology are you putting in that kid's head? Which is where now the Xavier comes in at, where it's like, well, no, you're not dangerous. You're special. And Magneto's like, no, we're special and we're dangerous. So fuck with us if you want to, but leave us alone. Where, Xavier is like, well, yeah, leave us alone too, but we can use this for good. Instead of you thinking we're automatically going to use it for bad because we're stronger than you. And that is the depth, that is very messed up thing to think about strength. And I thought about that today. It's almost like strength is already scary, yet everybody wants it. But what do you want it for? And when somebody has it, you're automatically thinking that they're going to use it against you, when really it was you that has that ideology, not me. And I think I'm done. We could do this all day in my Captain America voice.
No, that's right. But also, bro, real quick, I do glad that these are the angles as far as storylines go. I'm glad that these are the angles that they go with now, because this is something that does happen in real life. Obviously, not to this extreme, but
Hmm.
there's levels to extremes, and there's different types of extremes. So to the kids who are watching this, elementary school, middle school, high school, yes, people will try to they'll try to find a weakness, find their way in, and if they can attach to your weakness, they can get you to do anything you want. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just as good. You're good as you are. Just don't let no one try to use you or misuse you.
You,
Excuse me. So I'm glad
you
that they
know,
go ahead.
I was just going to say your statement. It sounds beautiful, except for in the Disney universe, they're going to try to not attach to your weakness. They're going to try to attach to your strengthness.
Right, but to do that, you have to take control of the weakness first.
Oh, that's why they grab their sister, and that's why they do this, and that's why they do that. Okay, got it.
So, trust, like I said, we could talk about this all night, but I gotta wake up in a few hours and take little one to the daycare. But I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna hit you up in the morning.
All righty. Hey, have a good night.
All right, good night.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That was a. All right, that was our reaction. That was a great and hell, that was probably a comic head segment. I haven't done those. I did it last week with the Black Panther movie. Well, we're finding out who the new Black Panther is. Now we do it today. So this was a good. This was a good segment. This was a good one too. I was not expecting to do 2 hours. And also, one more thing before we go, ladies and gentlemen, making thumbnails. I don't struggle to make thumbnails, especially now that with the incorporation of AI. Trust me, you guys go look at what my thumbnails are, and y'all can see what I did. I didn't know Grok. Well, let me not say anything. I didn't know these AIs got evolved or elevated themselves to where it's kind of hard to use your imagination and kind of be creative. They're putting restraints on your creation, which, in fairness, if you see why they say, "Hey, we know what you want to do, we can't do it because of this," I totally understand. I get it. This thumbnail, it took me a while to actually. These thumbnails took me like maybe less, probably 30 to 45 minutes. Thumbnails I do in a few minutes. It don't take much. These ones, it took a bit because there's some more restrictions now. They got restrictions now that won't allow you to do it. Now, some people ask, "Hey, Chris, I noticed that you use a actual MCU poster, but when I use these other AIs, they say no, whatever request you want to do, we can't do it because of these restrictions." Now, some people ask, "How was you able to do it?" All I'm gonna say is this: just be creative. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one door into a building. Just find a way to be creative and get your thoughts and your ideas out there. Yes, if y'all reading this, on the left hand side of the screen, that's me in the Spider-Man outfit. On the right hand, that's the original photo. All I'm gonna say is just keep working, be active. I know it's a headache, it's a pain in the ass, but trust me, it'd be worth it. And I don't think I violated any laws or anything. So we'll there goes that. But let's get out of here, y'all. This was good. TikTok, shout out to you guys, to people at TikTok for not reporting me and putting me on that extra stuff that they did the last time. I'm glad we got that fixed. But let's get out of here. You want more content like this? Subscribe and share. Follow them on social. Links are located in the description. Participate, waive all rights to privacy. We're on the road to 1,500. Once we reach that goal, we'll do the Cash App giveaway. Thank you guys for tuning in to All World Reaction. Shout out to Brittany B. Shout out to Raul B. My name is Christopher J. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.
It's a mess, but hey, don't even worry about it.